Welcome to the Atheist Roundtable. What's up, man? What's up, Oz?
What's up? Hey, I like that new intro.
Yeah, you like that? It's Atheist Pasta just hijacked our shit. What the fuck, man? All the way from Australia, man, hijacking the roundtable. What's going on, man? What's up?
Oh man, I'm feeling good. Ready. Been looking forward to this. We've had this one on the books for I'd say about a month now, and looking forward to chopping it up with Atheist Pastor.
Yeah, man. Chris Attlee, dude. Australia's finest, as they say. He's like that Australian wine that they make. He gets better with age. No, remember when we came across this guy when we saw him on that Darth Dawkins debate?
Yes, still ranks as my top. Well, no, he's still my favorite. I guess I'm not saying just because he's here, because I've said it on other episodes. It's still my favorite.
Absolutely, because it was a structured debate. It was set up, and then he slipped him that whole reductio thing. I liked him from that moment. I also liked that fella that he was in that was mod in that debate. I think from is it the Nevermore Tavern? I might be wrong.
Yeah. I forgot about that part of it, but yeah.
Yeah, that dude was cool as well. But I always wanted to get him on the show, and then we had him on the show recently with your brother, Pastor Kyle, Pastor Rob Yannock, and what is he practicing to be a Dr. Josh? What's that guy's name?
He is a gynecologist or something.
Yeah, doctor in training Josh. Dr. Josh.
Yeah.
Dr. Joshua Bowen for the mental health episode. Great stuff.
Yep, DIT, doctor in training.
Doctor in training. This is a house of learned doctors, by the way. No, but seriously, don't forget, if you guys are struggling with mental health, we do have a link on the website, right, Oz?
Yeah, you go to the website, and then on the scroll bar, you'll see it says TART helps, and there's a couple different options there. We can definitely help you if you just need somebody to listen, or we can get you in contact with a licensed secular professional.
And if you haven't already seen that episode, it was a 2-hour extravaganza. Check it out. It's in the videos listed on our YouTube channel. It's a great episode, a little bit different than some of the format that we usually lay out. And Chris, the Atheist Pastor, is on there, and we're about to bring him on. But before we do, Oz, what have we got coming up here soon on the schedule?
Well, there's this one guy you might be familiar with. I think his name's help me. It's something Jump.
T Jump.
Yeah, T Jump. Yeah,
Thomas Jump.
Yeah. He has a debate coming up tomorrow evening with us here on the Atheist Roundtable, and then we're going to have a Halloween special. We invite everybody to come in their best Halloween outfits or costumes possible. We'll have fun there. And
Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
You don't mind if I push pause. Now, the Halloween special, does that happen in the same time as Grumpy's episode, though?
Well, that's what I was going to turn it over to you. I was just getting ready to say he's been donned by Pasta Mike, the CEO of Mods. So I think we're doing a little bit of a combo there. Pasta, what are your expectations there?
Yeah, I say we do a little bit of a combo because Grumpy deserves his own show, right? We got him on the 31st, but he does deserve his own show. He's the CEO of Mods. I don't want him to step on IQ's toes because IQ is like the CEO of like everybody's mods. So Grump is the CEO of Mods of the TART show, right? And maybe the Discord server that Jeff runs. But Ben, you know who Benji is? Benji, the Kung Fu SE champ. He was telling me he's got something planned. He's going to be dressing up as something tight.
Interesting. And you never know with Ben. He's quietly deceptive.
Very deceptive. He keeps Tic Tacs in his pocket, dude. You're talking about a guy who keeps Tic Tacs in his back pocket at all times.
Yeah, you never trust a guy that keeps a package of Tic Tacs in his pocket.
They're not for his breath. They're not. They're for critical thinking analysis. He does. He'll test you on your critical thinking. But who else have we got? We got somebody coming up in November that you've been wanting to get on the show for a while.
We do. We have the OG of street epistemology, and one that myself and the rest of the guys here at the round table have been looking forward to having on. That is what you call him, Sir Anthony Magnabosco.
You got to get the sir in there. You got to get the
Yeah,
sir in there.
sir. Anthony Magnabosco will be with us. Super excited for that. That is the 15th of November at 9 p.m. As usual, Eastern Standard Time, and that'll be exciting.
And what about these two? These two cheeky rascals.
Yeah, those are two that we're gonna have a lot of fun with. I love what they do on Talk Heathen. So Eric and V, that show is going to be a blast. And if you're familiar with Talk Heathen, you already know that it's going to be fun. But if you haven't, go check them out. They have a ton of fun, and they have great conversations on that show. And I know, Pasta, I know you watch a lot of the ACA stuff, so I know you probably enjoy that as well.
Absolutely. Well, enough about all the cool shit we got going on. Let's get the man of the hour in here, Mr. Chris Anthony. He's the atheist pastor. As I said earlier, he's coming in from Australia, and usually there's a little bit of a delay with audio and things coming in from that end of the world. He's beaming in from the future. It's already tomorrow, which is evidence that God doesn't exist. It's the best form of argument that you can have. We're talking to a guy that's coming in from the future. But anyway, let's get Chris in.
G'day.
What's up, Chris? How are you?
Mate, I am doing absolutely sensational. It's Monday afternoon here, and all is well in the world.
Awesome. I was just going to say, how's the weather? How's everything on the other side of the globe? Unless there are flat earthers watching, then you're what, on the bottom or underneath, or how would that happen?
Well, it depends on on what way the flat Earth is spinning, I guess, at any given time. It's the weather here is terrible. It's been absolutely torrential. We had I guess it's the equivalent of our Super Bowl was on yesterday. So it's the NRL Grand Final, and I happened to go to it, and it was you'd think sort of this time of year, we're almost getting to the middle of spring. Yeah, we live in a sunburned country, as we say. You'd think it's going to be nice weather. It's been bucketing down. It is absolutely horrible outside. Like, I can't emphasize how terrible the weather is. I hate it. I hate the rain.
Is that just out of curiosity? It's been like that for several days then?
About 2 days, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, about 2 days. Just for the weekend, everyone wanted it to be nice and sunny. No.
This
is God's way of punishing us for revealing the truth about the flat Earth.
That's what I'm going to go with. Cool. So before we get into any questions or dialogue, anything like that, Atheist Pastor Chris, please tell us about you. Where are our viewers, listeners? Where can they find you? What do you have going on right now?
So look, it's actually a really good time for me because I've just had a month off, and I'm coming back this week with plenty of stuff planned. So look, the easiest way to find me is youtube.com/atheist pastor. You'll find me there. You'll find the channel there. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. It costs nothing to subscribe, so that's a good thing. Normally, I've got a few shows that we do. So we've got the Atheist Pastor podcast. So that's where I guess it's a bit of a similar thing to this, where I'll just talk to interesting people in the community. So, or even outside the community. I actually interviewed a fellow he's a Christian author. He'd written a few things that historically were a bit off, and he agreed to come on. We had a really good chat. I had as you can see, Henry Rambo, who was a former Christian missionary to China, and of course there's my Darth Dawkins debate on there, which is certainly one of my favourite videos too. But we've got that. I do Friday night six pack with a group of guys and girls, which is where we basically sit around, have a couple of drinks. Friday night my time, so Friday morning for those of you in the US, and try and solve all the problems of the world while having a beer or two. So it's usually starts off really structured and descends into drunken chaos. So if you want to see Aussies getting absolutely munted first thing on a Friday morning, that is the show for you, let me tell you.
Also, I don't think there's a better, I can't think of much, there are too many better ways to start your morning than listening to a few Aussies just get trashed while you wake up.
Absolutely. And even better, we've got, so Jay from the Nevermore Tavern, he's, well, I say usually joins us. Jay's always there. And because he works the night shift, he's kind of on the same time cycle as us. So we get a drunken American in there too. So it's really good. He's drinking some of that rubbish beer that you guys have there in the US, but that's okay. We're slowly going to get him around to our way of seeing things.
That's awesome. And I was checking out some of your stuff yesterday and today. And first of all, I like the title and how you formatted the 6-pack. You have 6 people on there to discuss the topics. Where did that idea come from? Just out of curiosity.
It's just one of those names that sort of came to my head. It was originally when I was first, I guess, finding my feet in the, what do I want to do? And I had 6 people come on, and I think it was just something as simple as it was a Friday night. I said, well, I'm going to drink a 6-pack while we do this. There's 6 of us. It's a 6-pack. Wow. And it's one of those really sort of weird, just one of those strange things that kind of happened. Friday night 6-pack just kind of had a bit of a ring to it. And I thought, we can go with this. Let's run with it. And it just kind of became a thing. So, yeah.
No, that's awesome. And so it was organic, is what you're saying. More of it kind of happened. You ran with it. Now it's kind of caught on.
Yeah. Look, I wish there was a really cool story about we had a high level team of marketing experts that sat around, but really it was just 6 people got drunk. A name came up and it kind of worked, which is kind of that 6-pack. It's just we have a few drinks and work shit out. Look, the theory behind it is, and I don't know if this happens much in the US, but in Australia, what will happen is we'll go to a pub or a bar, and you sit around, and after a few drinks, all of a sudden you're solving all the problems of the world, and you have some interesting conversations. And I think because people have had a couple of drinks, they're a little bit looser, they're a little bit, less reserved in putting their ideas out there. And sometimes you can come up with some good ideas. I can't remember who it was, but there was an ancient Greek philosopher who said, the best way to work out if something's a good idea is talk about it when you're sober, talk about it when you're drunk, and if both times you think it's a good idea, go with it. Probably not in those words, but it's either ancient Greek or ancient Australian wisdom. I don't know which one, but ancient Greek sounds better.
Wherever it came from, I love that philosophy. I was gonna make a comment. I don't think we're ever going to solve the world's problems without beer or whiskey or something involved. We start parting through that madness. But
look, even if we don't solve any of the problems, at least it's fun to have a beer or a whiskey. So
Yes.
I'm not doing much for the impression of Australians here, am I? Everyone thinks that we're just beer swilling, whiskey drinking drunkards, and I'm just kind of coming in and confirming that impression. It's true, I guess, but
Well, for the record, Chris, I have 0 issues with your plan and your strategy. So who cares what they say?
Well, in that case, you are Oz, so we'll make you an honorary Aussie. So you're halfway there with the name. We may as well just complete it.
There we go. So there's no more mute Oz, guys. There we go. That's done. It's over with. So just stop it.
Done.
So I'm official in Aussie. So now we can just end the stream now, Chris. Thank you. You've made my night. No, just kidding.
I'll get the certificate sent out to you, and mate, that's it. We'll have to talk about some sporting teams and things like that. But we'll get there.
Fantastic. So, Chris, so we talked about the name of that show, and you do have some other very good content.
Hey, sometimes Oz can't read the banners on the screen, and I appreciate. Sorry to interrupt the broadcast, but Paul Camish dropped about $1 million in the chat last night in the debate, and I do want to apologize because we've been going back and forth via email. Paul Camish, thank you for yesterday. We didn't get a chance to read your comments. We almost didn't again then. I'm sorry. Oz does have new contacts in, and he has a hard time seeing the banners on the screen. But they disappear after a while, Paul. But we will get in touch with Gavin, and would love to have you on to debate with him. And if Gavin has gotten in touch with you, from what I understand in your email, and he is willing to debate with you all the way from New Zealand, that'll be awesome. We'll love to have you on. Thank you for your super chat, Paul, and we apologize for yesterday.
Actually, shout out to Paul too. It's good to see you there. Paul's a real good guy. I've been fortunate to be on a stream or two with him before, and or in a chat with him, and really cool guy.
Yes, and thank you, Paul. Yeah, that was this one on this episode. Yeah, my lack of vision hurt us there. But no, what I was going to ask Chris is, well, how long have you had your YouTube channel up and running?
I reckon I'd be coming close to a year. I think it was sort of late November of last year that I started to do a few things. I know we're coming up to the 50th episode of Friday Night Six Pack, although there have been a couple of double episodes and a few other things in it, so it's not 50 weeks exactly. But yeah, look, 11 months, a year almost, roughly.
Okay, all right, and that's was my next question was, I know one of them I was watching, you were talking about the 50th edition of the six pack. So do you have anything special planned for the 50th edition? Do anything fun special for that?
Oh yes. So what we're actually going to do is we're debunking me. We're going to go back and debunk me. So what happened was, back in my my pre-atheist days, I was very much into the Christian thing, surprisingly. And there's some videos that I managed to find on a hidden YouTube page with me interviewing one of Australia's, or probably Australia's, leading Christian politician. And this is going back 11 years. So we're going to watch those videos and debunk the Christian version of me from 11 years ago. So that should be fun. Yeah, it should be. I've watched a little bit of some of them, and I did play it on one of the earlier six packs. So yeah, I haven't watched them all though, so I am a little bit worried about what I would have said all those years ago. But oh look, I think it's there's going to be good fun to poke, to really poke some fun at me, because I had this terrible goatee back at the time, and it was freaking horrible. It really, goatees don't suit me, and this thing, because it was a few years earlier, I guess I hadn't developed the ability to, and I still really haven't developed the ability to grow facial hair properly. But this thing just did look terrible. So if nothing else, people can poke fun at me for that. But certainly the views that I would have had back then are going to be almost diametrically opposed to what my views are now on social issues. So it'll be interesting. I think there'll probably be a few cringe moments, especially for me personally. But look, I'm sure that the people on the stream will look after me, take care of me, and really torment the crap out of me.
It is interesting to look back, because I can say the same thing for myself. When I left faith, left religion, a lot of my social, political views, a lot of them are now polar opposite. If not most of them are polar opposite. So I know you enjoy discussing that aspect of our lives and our existence here, is politics, humanism, that kind of thing. So you kind of started the conversation there. How have your views changed, Chris? Where compared to where you were, where you're at today?
Yeah, look, certainly on social issues, I have shifted. And in fact, part of my, I guess, coming out as an atheist had to do with, we had a same-sex marriage vote in Australia, and which I voted in favour of. It's my views had sort of started to evolve to a point that. I think that was just like the final nail for me. That was what really tipped me over. Certainly, my views on things such as, LGBTQ plus issues have definitely maybe not so much changed, but I've educated myself, and having educated myself, I think I certainly have a different perspective that I didn't have previously. My views on religious interactions with the government, or religious interactions with society have certainly evolved and changed. I still consider myself to be conservative when it comes to economic issues. That hasn't changed for me. I guess I didn't really see that was intrinsically tied into my religious or not lack of religious belief. But I think it's probably, I find that it's a lot easier to look at things without the religious lens on there. I think it gives you a broader spectrum of what you can explore, what you can engage with, I guess, the people that you meet. You're not starting from a place of, well, this person's a sinner and I need to save them. You're starting from a position of, hey, this is a person, they have something in their life that's different to something in my life. Cool, I'm going to learn something. Let's find out what their perspective is. So I think that's that's probably helped to evolve my views on a variety of topics.
Right, and I was had a conversation, I think it was this week, with someone, and I was describing, as far as the social and the political sphere, for me, it was almost like my world illuminated. It was like I had a new light shined on it. Whereas like now I saw people for people. I saw their humanity, and it wasn't like you said. I didn't see them for their sin or lack of sin or their blemishes, so to speak. I saw them now for being the creature that they are. Did you have a similar experience in that? What did that look like for you?
Yeah, look, I think I did. Look, probably the biggest thing is, and I think it was a light bulb moment for me. I stopped looking at people in, say, a same-sex relationship as a gay couple, and I just looked at them as a couple. It was, it just wasn't. There wasn't a sort of. It didn't become the defining aspect of who they were for me. Even if I were to see, say, a trans woman, for instance, it's not a case of I see a trans woman. I just see a woman now, and I think that religion and Christianity in particular did have that block, I guess that impediment for me to move past that. But look, by the same token, when I deconverted, I didn't become a better or a worse person. I didn't suddenly become smarter. My IQ didn't raise. It was just that my views changed on one particular big aspect, which was the question of whether there was a God or not. And as a result of that view changing, I was able to open up to other viewpoints that I hadn't been able to consider before because of that impediment.
Right. Yeah, and I love hearing that, because it is amazing when you get to take those lenses off and see the world in a whole different, manner. And then the one thing that I do want to kind of rewind and go back to, because I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think you said you're still, when it comes to economics or financially, still conservative. When you say that, what do you mean? You give me a little more.
Yeah, because it is very different. I'm always careful when I speak to Americans, because conservative in America is, I would consider, different to conservative in a lot of the rest of the world, because it's so entrenched with religion in the US. So as far as I guess smaller government, more pro-business policies, lower taxes, just sort of general economic conservatism. So I guess where I'd fall on the political spectrum, I would probably be considered centre-right or moderate right. So I'm not a hardcore, sort of gun-toting, no free healthcare kind of person. We've got universal healthcare here in Australia, so I'm never ever giving that one up. And I can tell you, it's you can quote a conservative from another country. It works really, really well. But look, I just think that the government should have less interference, almost like a libertarian view, I guess, but tied to economics. I think if businesses are responsible, then supporting businesses will employ more people, which is better than having people on, I guess, welfare and systems like that. I guess it's the old, I'm going to quote the Bible here. It's give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, feed him for life. So it's that kind of a principle.
Awesome. And what you just said there, that's why I wanted to ask, because I would align with that, because there still are some of the financial things that I still would be a right lean, even here in the States. So what I want to do
and look, I was going to say really quickly, I think the political spectrum's broken anyway, because the political spectrum initially was designed in 19th century France. 18th century, late 18th century revolutionary France, and it's not necessarily something that applies to modern society, because we've got such a broad spectrum of views on different topics. Like, I'm economically conservative, but I'm socially progressive. Now, if we went back 50 years ago, that doesn't mesh. It's if you're in one camp, you're in one camp, and it's a very sort of stringent viewpoint. But even when you look at different countries, like if I look at the US, I'd struggle in the US, because the Democrats or depending which Democrat it is, they'd be too far to the left on a lot of issues for me. But then I look at the Republicans, and they're so intertwined with religion that I can't back that. But American politics is unique. Like if we were to compare it to the equivalents in Australia, we're very much more centered on both sides, with fringes, of course. But then, America's just, you guys are special. You've got a real special.
I was about to say we're a unique blend here.
Oh yes.
So, Chris, have you ever met a real life troll?
Oh, a real life troll. I've been accused of being one, but no, I can't say. Well, maybe I have, but haven't realised it.
What an intro. I do like when he said, though, that American politics is unique. And what he means by that is a nice way of saying batshit crazy and makes no sense.
Yeah, actually, I was probably going to go for a stronger term than that, even. But, it's
think of it like a reality show, and the person that wins is the one that makes the most noise. So whoever's the most entertaining when they speak or when they say what crazy stuff they say, they get the most airtime.
It's the WWE of politics.
Yes.
So, well, that explains why you've got a WWE Hall of Famer as the president.
There you go.
I mean, it's why run Joe Biden? Bring in The Rock. Get him in now. Dwayne Johnson.
He had that video that came out and had Kamala and Joe in on that.
Oh, there we go. See, they're bringing him in already.
Well, and I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was yesterday or today. It was announced in 2024. It's official. Kanye is running for president of the United States of America.
Again.
There you go.
Again.
I hope he enjoys all dozen votes that he gets.
I'm eligible to run in 2024.
Old man. All right.
Do it. I'll become a citizen and vote for you. I'm in. After the way you handled Darth Dawkins the other way, I'm in.
Oh, Oz, we have a clip from the call-in show.
Oh, let's
listen. Let's listen in. Oh, while we buffer. With no transcription. Oh, okay. Hello?
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Forgot that Pasta has dial-up internet.
Justify atheism, given that atheism is a universal negative, but in a not God world,
technical issues. Where's the prayer doesn't help with Wi-Fi signal strength thing that we have?
Yeah, this is God's way of punishing Pastor Mike.
Yeah, probably.
you mustn't insult his great prophet, the one and only Darth Dawkins.
Yeah. But he did call into my show with a script.
No, he never uses a script. It's all off the cuff. Not Darth.
Well, I didn't know. This is my first interaction I've ever had. There it is. Wi-Fi issues not mutually exclusive to one worldview. That's it. Well, see, when he called in, though, I mean, I've heard the name Darth Dawkins before, and I've heard of him, but I've never had any direct. He joined my server and got banned within like 10 seconds. Like I never had any actual speaking with him. But I may get. This is my first second live show that I've ever done. I might get 20 views. All of a sudden, I got like 80 people in there, and I'm like, what's going on? Because Darth and his little crew of minions have moved over to my show. And he calls in and asks how that I can make any decisions of truth in a not God world.
I had never heard that phrasing before.
I haven't either. So, and since I haven't heard it, and one of the things, I'm intellectually honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the smartest guy in the room.
We all know that.
And if I don't understand something, I'm going to ask questions. And I want you to explain it to me. And so I just asked, what are you talking about? And he wanted to know how I could make a statement like the sky is blue without God.
In a not God world.
In a not God world. And then...
But the funny thing is, as you were asking these questions, he didn't know, he couldn't answer. He was just reading off the script.
Right.
He didn't know what he was talking about.
I don't know what the point was, where we were going. You know what I mean?
You were just avoiding the question. Why didn't you just answer the question?
And why were you talking over him? Why were you talking over him?
Because he talks a lot. He talks too much.
So, Jeff, have you got to watch Chris's conversation with him?
I've seen clips. I haven't watched the whole thing because he's intolerable.
My favorite
Dawkins, that is. Yeah,
but my favorite part is the first maybe 2 minutes in Darth. So Chris, you're an atheist, right? And Chris says, no, I had a personal revelation this morning, and I am now a Hindu.
It's pretty good. I've been doing X whatever religion it is. So if someone's like, oh, I'm an ex-Mormon, and you wouldn't understand, I go, hold on. I'm now Mormon. I believe in the tenets of Joseph Smith. What? I don't think it's right. I'm now an ex-Mormon. Just like that. Now we're on the same page, right? Christians can't decide what it means to be a Christian. Anytime that someone disagrees with they're not a real Christian. They can decide who is real and who's not. So how can you tell me I'm not a real Mormon just now?
Well, real quick, just so we can point this out, Paul, thanks again, Paul, $4.99. He said internet live streaming buffering is called junk shopping from the world famous junk shop library. Ding, 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 ding.
Pasta, you want to try and play it again? Did you fix your internet yet? Do you come in here and explain yourself? How you don't know to pre-buffer a clip?
So Chris, was that the only time that you've talked to old Darth, or if you had separate conversations?
Well, he came into the live, the live chat of when I was reasonably new on the scene, and he was sort of trolling in there, and we sort of engaged in that way. But no, that was the first time we had the first, and I would say only. I don't think he'll come back for more. He went and told everyone that he beat me, he demolished me, and I'm like, yeah. Oh, gee, you got me good. But so that was good fun. But and then he kept posting and tweeting about me, and I put up a video called "I Think Darth Dawkins is in love with me," and that was, I never heard from him after that. It was I don't know. I miss him. I got a little bit worried about him there for a while, and I was going to do a call out. Just let us know that you're okay. We even though you're a complete lunatic, we care.
Now that is some grade A troll behavior, because I always like to say, why are you seeking my attention? Whenever someone does that, I'm like, are you seeking my approval? You need to look in other people for your approval, not me. I don't know why you keep seeking my approval. Like, I'm sure you have other meaning in your life where you seek approval, maybe friends, family, someone else more important than me. So stop wasting your time trying to gain my approval and my attention. That
it was all part of my my little strategy with him, because I used his own arguments as a Hindu initially, and then I thought, I know how he's going to act afterwards, so I'm going to do the exact same thing. I wiped the floor. They called it the destruction of Darth Dawkins, and I basically did. I thought, what would he do in this situation? I thought, I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to hit him with his own shit and see if it sticks. And it worked a treat. So the trick to beating Darth Dawkins is being Darth Dawkins.
That's awesome. The other one I remember, he brought up, he started talking about the triune God, the Trinity, and you're like, well, no, actually, I have that too. And you could hear it in his voice. He was like, fuck.
He's like saying, but it's a different thing. And he's going, how do you know? I'm just going, personal revelation. Just got it then. Oh yeah. No. It's I brought out all the Christian.
I would like to see him and Ben do some epistemology.
I was about to say, the frustrating thing with him was that he was loading every single question and not giving any kind of defense. There was an underlying assumption that you had a strong atheism, and also the presupposition that his position was correct. So instead of giving an argument which gets you to the point that you have to accept that God exists, he's making the assumption, and so in a not God world, you can tear that down all you want. We're still left with I don't know at the end of the day.
Yeah, I don't claim
from
to
his
live
point
in
of view.
a not God world. I claim to live in an I don't know world.
Yeah, there you go. And
it's a script, but he said the same thing to Chris and Jeff. No, you can't not know.
Yeah,
you can't not know.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah.
Well, now you're avoiding the question. If you just ask why.
I don't understand, and I see this more in my life as I kind of grow up. Human beings can tend to be very binary. So be it like Republican, Democrat, or whatever, like they like the herd mentality kicks in, and we go with, one or the other, rather than taking a neutral position and making a decision on which way we want to go. We feel like we have to flip that switch. Like you have to be one place or the other. And then you vehemently deny and defend that position until you are absolutely either destroyed or change your mind for some other reason. Like I'm just in the position of saying, with any claim, like, let me figure it out, and then I'm okay and comfortable going to sleep at night, not understanding the Big Bang Theory. Like, I don't need to be a firm believer in the Big Bang Theory to go to sleep tonight. It doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't affect your life in any way.
It doesn't affect my life. So I don't have to be an atheist that claims to know that the Big Bang Theory is the origin of the universe. I can clearly say, I don't know right now. I may not even be smart enough to understand it. That might be the limiting factor. And in the same way, I don't have to say yes or no to ghosts or Jesus's miracle resurrection zombie body or whatever.
And it makes sense why those religions which would impact your life to a significant degree end up being believed by a majority of people. It's because, look, if you don't accept this, then your entire eternal afterlife is ruined. And It is much safer. That's why, like, Pascal's wager is still used to such an extent today. And it's what do you lose in some sense, or you have so much to gain? It really does make sense. But when you're searching for truth, unfortunately, it doesn't do anything to move your certainty.
So what's interesting, and we used to call it, when I was in the church, we'd be trying to convert and preach and all that, we called it life after death insurance. And we said, it's because, we know that we have this life, but, the old Pascal's wager, what if? But the thing is, and then here's the thing, what if this is the only life that we've got? What if there's nothing else after? If you waste this life, well, that's insane. It's crazy, because if this is it, it's precious. Every day, every second, every breath is precious. Why waste, 1/7 of your life going to church? Why waste, 1/10 of the money that you've got for your family to enrich your life and their life, or to help people you want to help, giving it to an organization that's spreading, false teachings and doesn't always do a lot of good. Some do, and this is not all. But why do that? There's really, Pascal's wager is so flawed. in it. Just like you were saying, it's a very binary position. It's black and white. It's, oh, if there's no afterlife, well, that's okay. You've lost nothing. Well, no, you have. You've lost everything.
And I really like the party analogy, where you take the same idea. This could be the only party we have. Are you going to spend the entire time in a corner making sure you don't have fun because you were promised an after party? Just because you have an invitation to the after party doesn't mean that the after party is going to exist, right?
Exactly.
And like, okay, you're also being threatened if you don't accept this invitation to the after party. There's another after party in which you have to write the same words over and over. You suck. You don't like to have fun, like a million times, or never ending. So it's like, how are you going to spend your time at the party? Are you going to make the most of it, or are you potentially going to waste it?
The try. Let's say I love the trees argument. How do you explain the trees and the beauty? I'm just like, well, this is all we've got to look at. How do we know it's beautiful? There could be something more beautiful out there. We just haven't seen it yet. Yeah,
but in a not God world, how do you know it's beautiful?
You stop talking over me. Stop talking over me.
If it's a not God, I need you to answer the question. Just answer yes or no. Those are the only two options.
Oh, you've got me, Darth. I'm converted. That's it. I'm going to become a presuppositional lunatic like you.
Well, and it's a combination of, you're loading the question, and it's a false dichotomy as well. You're saying it's the answers are either yes or no. The question's malformed, sir. So try again.
Sir. So we rolling the video, or are we just gonna keep it moving here? Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I have a question for you. How do you justify atheism, given that atheism is a universal negative, but in a not God world, how would you be able to establish any universals?
So, like, are you saying like universal truths?
No, atheism is a universal negative. It's either an explicit or an implicit denial of God, which is a universal negative.
Okay.
So how in a not God world could you instantiate any universal?
So give me an example of a universal.
God.
Okay. So without God, how do I substantiate God?
Yeah, not God would be a universal. God is a universal. Not God is a universal. They're both universal negatives. So not God in a not God world, which is either an explicit or implicit denial of God, that's a universal negative. So how in a not God world would you be able to sustain and establish that there are any universals at all?
So you keep saying universals, like there would be no universals.
How would you be able to instantiate any universals, including the universal negative of not God?
Okay, so you're saying that that's circular.
No, it's a question. God or not God are both universal negatives. Are you aware of that?
So you're saying God or not God are universal negatives.
They are both positive universals and universal negatives, depending on how you look at it. If I say the dog is running in the backyard, that is simultaneous. It's not only a positive statement, but it's also a negation of its denial. Okay? Every positive statement is a negation of its denial. So both God and not God, as respective worldviews, are universal negatives. So
well, one's a positive and one's a negative.
Would you be able to establish? No, they're both universal negatives.
So there is a God as a negative?
Yes. When we assert the universal of God existing, it would be negating the not God world. In other words, that all facts are unrelated to God.
All right, I'm with you.
I'm still waiting for an answer to the question.
Well, I was making sure I understood the question.
Well, it had me saying, "Oh my God," the entire time. So does that mean he wins?
But here, the best part is, like, literally, Jeff doesn't know that it's DJ Dawkins. He doesn't know, and he proved why he is the ultimate troll. Like he made him ask the same question like 30,000 damn times, and
that's when he starts getting angry. He starts getting angry, and he doesn't ask the question differently. He just does it louder.
Yeah, it was
like, I got to get to the next step on here.
It's like, you're not following the script. I have the script. Follow the damn script.
But I know that the way this works is by him being a showman and by getting attention this way and by being so ludicrous. We're here talking about it today. This is a very good troll move. I have to give him props for that. I have to give him some credit for being as popular as he has been, because there is not very many Discord servers that atheist or otherwise that don't know who he is or haven't heard the name. So if you're watching, good job. Call back in on Monday. You can finish your script.
Yes.
Please do. He's great for ratings. I mean, my biggest video has Darth Dawkins on it. And anytime I put his name on anything, it's just like the views go through the roof. I'm thinking of just doing a weekly show where he just calls in and I torment him.
Well, you're gonna have to start paying him.
Could be worth it.
And everybody's in the comments section. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate it. Start throwing your questions up in the chat area for Chris, Jeff, Ben, myself, God, if you'd like. You can put all the questions in there. And super chat is available, so go ahead and do that if you want your questions to pop up there. And Paul, we'll make sure we get them read now, because we'll have them all right there in a nice little bundle tonight, so we won't miss them. But we'll do that. No, that's we could probably talk about those, Chris and Jeff's interactions with Darth all night, and other ones that we've seen, because they are hilarious to watch and listen to. Even one of my other favorite ones is T Jumps. He's got two that stick out to me, but there's the one that he just destroyed him, and Darth was so pissed off the entire conversation. But before we do that, Chris, is there anything else that you want to share? As I know we talked about your YouTube channel, how you got started. All the details for that. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with the listeners? This is your first time on the roundtable, so I will make sure anything that you wanted to share that you get to talk about it.
Oh, look, I mean, I'm a pretty open book, so I guess if anyone's got any questions, nothing upsets or offends me. I sometimes even like a good argument. Look, I guess my main thing is something I noticed is that people lack community sometimes when they come into, or they come out of religion. They lose that. So I guess that's a big motivating sort of factor for me. And I guess things like this is great because it does provide a community and a place for people to go. I'm probably less of the angry atheist now. I'm actually starting to engage more with religious people, Christians in particular, and having some really interesting conversations. So, but no, look, it's at the same time, I'm also happy to poke fun at some of the dumb arguments and the insistence that people have to want to throw a Lee Strobel book in front of me. But have you read The Case for Christ every 5 seconds? It didn't convert me the first 5 times I read it. It's not going to convert me now.
Because you have a hardened heart.
Have you seen the movie?
I do.
Is the movie representative, or should I actually read it? I still haven't done either.
You know what? I haven't seen the movie, but now I feel as though I should.
I can tell you that the movie is harder, because at least with the book, you're just like, oh, Lee Strobel's an idiot. And then with the movie, you're like, there are a lot of idiots.
I've asked for the arguments that are presented in there, and I just remember kind of shaking
yada, 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 500 witnesses.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Say, what is it again, Jeff?
Yada, 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 500 witnesses.
Okay, got it. Cool. Okay.
That's pretty much the book.
No one can name the 500 witnesses. It's just like, oh yeah, there was 500 witnesses. So there, I've proved it.
Hey, they have, listen, and this is true. They have found Bigfoot blood. There was a lady in Oregon, in the Pacific Northwest, that has found Bigfoot blood. There are over 1,000 confirmed cases of Bigfoot sightings yearly. Thousands yearly. And this is an natural phenomenon, can be explained.
The ancient aliens put it there. That's why.
And they have his blood. They can DNA test it.
So I noticed
it has an extra chromosome.
Chris, you use the you say that you're a historian. I'm not super familiar with your background in that way. Do you want to maybe share a little bit about that, help enlighten me and maybe the audience and kind of what
sure.
you study?
So my main area of study is modern Australian. I'm actually doing my PhD thesis is going to be on Australian chaplains in the First World War. But my main area of interest, I guess, goes back a little bit further, and I'm obsessed with I don't know if you guys have seen the Richet structure, the Eye of the Sahara. I have an obsession with that thing at the moment.
I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, if you ever get the chance, it's this. You've got all these kooks that claim that it's Atlantis. It's not Atlantis. It's in the middle of the Sahara Desert for a start. But if you ever look at go to Google Earth, and in the middle of the Sahara, it's like it's an eye, and it's as you zoom in, it's this perfectly rounded structure that they really only discovered in the 90s when they started taking photos or mapping from space a bit better. So it's I'd love to know more about that. But yeah, look, I guess I haven't got my PhD yet, so I don't necessarily have an area of expertise apart from knowing what my thesis is going to be on. I'm probably more of a broad historian. Like history is something that had always interested me. It's something I wish I had have done more with when I first left school. I went back and studied as a mature age student, I guess you'd say. Initially years ago, I studied a Bachelor of Theology and Ministry. And I guess that sort of, from there, a lot of the issues I had with the Bible led me to looking at the history side of things, and it just kind of reignited that love I have for history. And
Wow.
And from there, the next thing you know, I'm planning on doing a PhD.
Well, I'm like so curious with that, or
Actual pictures.
Yeah, those are actual pictures of Bigfoot right up there.
It's real.
Of
If 500 people say something happened, it happened. That's it.
No,
You don't need to know who they are. You don't need to question their background, read their writings, learn if they were, I don't know, made up. Like, that is not important. If 500 people, it's definitive. 500 people say something, you flip the switch to believer.
Well, and to me, it reminds me of tent revivals, where you're going to have a preacher at the front of a tent. You're going to get 5,000 people there. You're going to get 500. You're going to get 500 people who sign a card saying that they turned their life over to Christ.
Those are really good fundraisers.
And they're great fundraisers, right? It's like
Great fundraisers.
By the way, I was reading Acts today, and this made me so mad. It said there was this couple who sold their land and put their money at the apostles' feet. And Peter, I think it was Simon called Peter, said, "Hey, did you give me all the money that you sold this land for?" And they lied, essentially. Peter said, "Well, the Lord is telling me that you didn't." I don't know. Peter knew that they didn't give him all their money, so they were struck dead by God at his feet, and they were carried outside buried. Seriously,
righteously so.
Yeah,
right.
God's on retirement after the Bible.
And there's a lesson.
But the point I think I was trying to get was, even today we've got people who will claim to have 1,000 converts, or you got Benny Hinn up there converting 10,000 people in an arena. Are they really being converted? What does that have to do with the truth of the things that Benny Hinn is doing on stage, or Peter Popoff, or whoever?
There's a lot of psychology that's involved in that, and I guess to go back to the charismatic, I guess my training in charismatic preaching, one of the things that they did train us on, and I guess it's helped me in my post-Christian life as well. They trained us on what's called neuro-linguistic programming, which is the way you use hand gestures, your voice. It's almost like a mild form of hypnosis, but it's designed to emphasize certain words, certain ideas. If you go into a church, a charismatic church, or any of these tent revivals, you'll notice that always they start with these real uplifting songs. Everyone's got their hands in the air, praising Jesus, everyone's really that energy. It's because music does have an effect on the brain. I mean, the brain's made up of, I think, 90% water. It really gets you excited. Then they'll go for the next song, which will also be another pump up, bring it down a level before they go into the real soft, everyone's praising Jesus, we love you, Jesus. And that's when the pastor will come out and start to say, that's great, everyone's here. And and the Lord's really got a great message on our heart, and we're going to do our tithe at the moment. They'll do the tithe talk and normally have a really nice story to interact with it. Always say now it's if it's your first time here, or even if it's not, don't feel obliged to put any money in. You don't need to do that. We're going to pass it around. But if the Lord puts it on your heart, if God tells you, I want you to just take a moment and just listen to God and what's God telling you, and that's how it happens. It's all the.
All right, cousin Tony, here you go. Gosh, your skin and bones. So hungry, I'm sure. Oh.
Chris is like, what the?
I was like, hang on, I was waffling too much again. They've cut me off.
No, it's Chris. It amazes me because I'll tell people that there are pastors, ministers that actually get trained to do the things you just shared, and they're like, "There's no way. There's no way that they train them to do that." No, they do. Absolutely.
Hey, where is Murdershed Steve? If that wasn't a cue, I don't know. But where is Murdershed Steve? Is he not here? God damn it! Oh, doesn't he do Q&A normally? No, he doesn't. Hey, everybody!
I know he's getting ready for Halloween.
Hey, we got a couple of questions in the chat here. Let's take a looky. Murdershed Steve hasn't been seen for about 48 hours. If anyone has seen him, don't turn him into local authorities. Just be aware. We got a question for Jeff. I understand the confusion about Christianity. Oh, wait a minute. This is from conservative Christian Dave Gonzalez, friend of the show. I understand the confusion about Christianity. He understands it. I like to break down questions as I read them. So, Jeff, what he's saying here is he understands the confusion about Christianity. There should be a period there, not a comma. Period. What do you think it means to be Christian? I don't know. Isn't an acceptable answer. I'm asking for what you think based on what you have heard.
So if I go so here's the thing. Are we going based off the Bible? Are we going based off conservative Christianity in the South? Are we going based off of one of the 3,000 denominations that we have? Are we going based off Catholicism or Pentecostal or Methodist? Is it Christians don't know what it means to be Christian. So how do you want me to answer that question? If we read the Gospels, if Christianity is defined as followers of Jesus, and we read Jesus's word as listed in the Gospel from what we have, I would say that he was an apocalyptic Jewish preacher who preached the coming of age and the end of an era in his lifetime, in the return of God in his lifetime, in his time. That is not what we see in modern Christianity. And if you look, if I went to a church 50 years ago, you think that we'd see the same type of Christians we have today? If I went to a church 100 years ago, you think we'd see the same? No, you guys have been changing the meaning of what it means to be a Christian every single time there's a new social, political agenda to get on board with.
Okay, sassy pants, I get it. Okay, get off your soapbox, mister. Who else we got over here? Let's take a look. Oh, I didn't know you probably already answered him. Got it.
Okay. That.
All right, we got Mr. IQ in the house. What up, IQ? Chest bump, boss. Do a chest bump. Pound it. What does your atheist worldview account for? It taken only 3 licks to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. Let's go to Ben.
That's a question for Oz.
Oh, for Oz? Sorry, Oz.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because he knows about that.
I don't even know what a Tootsie Pop is.
You don't know? Okay. Well, let's go to Ben then.
Where, huh? Where did you grow up? What is wrong with you?
It only takes 3 licks because, as an owl, the advertisement he has a beak. And with that beak, you take 2 licks and then a crunch, and there you are.
No. You got it all wrong.
And a not owl world, it would be impossible.
No.
Since we live in an owl world,
how long a lick actually is? A lick for God is like 500 human licks. Okay,
does Chris
so
know
that's
what
it's actually it's actually 1,500 licks, but because there was a mistranslation, in the question, is what it is. It wasn't translated properly.
Do you guys have Tootsie Rolls?
They don't have those in Oz's house, apparently.
Oh my gosh.
Us Aussies have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a lollipop, and on the inside you've got like a chocolate turd candy looking thing.
It's a taffy. There's
a
chocolate taffy at the center.
And there was this huge advertising campaign, at least when I was a kid, about how many licks does it take to get to the center, and you would always try to count, and at a certain point you bite into the candy and you get to the center of the Tootsie Pop.
Why does it sound like something a Catholic priest would give out?
Well, you know something? I think we may have chatted a little bit about this earlier, but I'm going to go at it again. From Look Squirrel. Look, squirrel. Look at that picture. Looks like Oz. Anyway,
looks like Oz.
What is your channel goals for? I guess what you got coming up?
Total global domination. That's probably the easiest part. It's
yeah.
all part of our Australian infiltration to get into American society and convert you all. Look, ultimately, what's the goal? The reason I do the channel is two reasons. The first I'm going to give you is a selfish reason. It's very therapeutic for me. When I left religion and lost my faith, it was actually a fairly traumatic event. So what I found by starting the channel, I was able to talk about it and talk openly about my experiences, and it was very therapeutic. So that's the selfish reason. But ultimately, the reason the channel exists is so people have got a place to go, to provide some community, and also to provide, I guess, some how would I word this? Some community that's not US centric on certain political issues. I find that the atheist community sometimes forgets that it's an atheist community and not a big political movement. And I say that as someone who is, I'm not shy about my politics, but just as a bit of a safe place for everyone to come, regardless of what your thoughts are on a range of issues.
Sure. Now, I guess subcategory. Do you have a safe word at home with the missus?
Yes, she never uses it though.
She
always ignores it. And it's
brave Sheila.
Sheila, oh gosh, it's like it's the 1980s again.
You know, I'm gonna be throwing terrible, stereotypical Australian jokes your way all night long. Here we go. Let's take a look. Oh, by the way, hey, Jeff, you're not answering the question, Jeff.
In a not God world,
what do I think a Christian is? Is that what the question was? Or what do I think Christianity is?
I'm just reading these things.
I told you what I think Christianity is, or what do I think a true Christian is? Someone that understands the meaning of the Gospels would be somebody I think is a true Christian, but I don't think that there is such a thing. I don't think a true Christian exists because it's not a true story. That's like asking, who is a true.
Okay, dude, I get the calm down, dude. Chill.
True believer in Hercules. Like, what does a true believer in Hercules look like?
Why are you getting so emotional, dude? Holy
shit.
I've been drinking a lot of green tea.
Damn. You need to get more like Oz, dude.
I just don't know how I'm supposed to answer the question. I'm being honest. I don't think anybody knows what a true Christian is, because you can just make that up.
Oh. Is it Christian to mute Oz? Absolutely not. That is one of the first rule in atheistic 101 worldview.
The issue with trying to call anyone a Christian or defining Christians or Christianity for a Christian is that you're always going to be wrong.
There's no right answer.
If you're sitting on our side of the round table, you're realizing that there's all of these different possible reasons. There's many different kinds of Christians, and I would be right about each definition for a different person. So yeah. Did you guys like that? I said this side of the round table.
Yeah, we know.
I thought that was creative.
Yeah, P, thank you for that.
Christianity is, I was going to say, it's like morality. It's subjective.
Yeah.
Because it's different things to different people. I mean, you've got the ultra-conservatives, you've got, like you said, a million different denominations. And even within those denominations, there's rifts and, it's this pastor doesn't like what that pastor says, or, it's just.
They mold it.
Yeah, Christianity, look, if you're a Christian, then Christianity is what it is for you. If someone tells you you're not a Christian because you don't believe a certain way, a certain thing, well, good luck to them. That means you're not a Christian to them. So, I mean, it is subjective as hell.
So he's asking, what is it just your understanding? To know what it is, my understanding of what it means to be Christian, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I would think a Christian reads the Bible and tries to live their life based on Jesus's teachings. That's what I would.
Right, so-
That's what I think a Christian should be, or what I think that my view of Christianity should be.
All right,
However,
guys. This time next week,
See,
Sunday,
I
Jeffrey Troll.
I was going to say,
Jeff?
I'd argue that because anyone if a Christian's reading the Bible, they're probably no longer.
Right, exactly. That's the problem.
They just try to deconvert people. Give them a break.
Right.
Is it
So
safe to say Jeff and David Gonzalez, the conservative Christian, this time next week on the Atheist Roundtable debate what it's like to be a Christian?
Sure.
Let's do it.
I'll do no prep.
I got a great one for Mr. Atheist Pastor Chris Atlee. Boom. Nevermore Tavern. Love you, Chris.
Not
Look
as
at
much
that.
as I love you, Jay.
Oh, Jay.
Jay, you see, Nevermore Tavern Jay, he's one of the coolest people I've met coming into the community, and he's actually not an atheist. He's a secular Buddhist, or he's a Buddhist. He's actually going through a really interesting journey at the moment. And I'm enjoying having these conversations with him. But he's my co-host on Friday Night Six Pack, and just one of the coolest guys, and one of the just most awesome people you could ever want to meet. So lots of love for you, Jay.
You know, it's funny, the debate that you guys did that day on that platform. I don't even know the guy, but it was immediately palpable that he was like a nice guy. I was like, this guy's fucking awesome. And I don't even know the guy. I just liked his personality. He reminds me of some kind of comedian. I think I told you that last time. I can't think of the guy's name, but such a cool dude. I was like, man, that guy's awesome. But yeah, I think I'm a big fan of Jay's too.
Yeah, definitely. It's, and anyone who hasn't subscribed to his channel, go do it. He's really cool. Actually, he's good on conspiracies. He's a massive conspiracy. I'd say debunker. He'd probably consider himself more an analyst when it comes to conspiracies. But there's on my channel there's a few really cool episodes where he and a mate of mine from the real world, Bobby Mack, who is a flat earther, they discuss a variety of different conspiracies and look at. It's just interesting the way they have the conversation. It's always really respectful. It's not yelling at each other. They actually discuss it, and it's good to see the way that their brains work with the same facts, the same evidence, but completely different conclusions. It's almost yeah.
You're a history buff, right? And you said you were doing stuff on World War One.
Well, my thesis will be on Australian chaplains in the First World War.
So what? And you were talking about flat Earth. Did they? And I'm skipping to the Second World War, but did they have an explanation for how the aircraft got to Pearl Harbor?
Well, World War One never happened. World War Two never happened. It's a big conspiracy.
They're that deep.
I don't know.
Christ, that's pretty
yeah,
rough.
it's look, one of the things I found, and Bobby Mack, who in the real world, he's my best mate. I love him to death, but he's a flat earther, and I've always kind of struggled with that because he's in Australia for a start. I mean, it's just like he's originally from Scotland. It's like, man, you've flown. We can see things. We live right on the ocean where we can watch the boats sink into the horizon. But it's really interesting, the conversations I have with him. And it reminds me that the way he defends things is the same way that religious people defend it. And it's like it's a religious center of the brain that just will overcome. And it's
So what happens if you develop that argument over, I don't know, 2,000 years?
Well, when you have Christianity.
Oh, perfect. And that's why it's the most, someone told me this earlier, it's the most researched religion ever.
Yeah, actually, no, I'd say Judaism beats it.
It's the most historically accurate book ever made.
There's a lot less books in Judaism.
Oh yeah,
There's a lot less reading required.
But it links to 3 religions. It's what I love in the Bible is how do we know that Luke is an excellent historian? It's because Luke will tell you he is an excellent historian.
That's all I need to know.
Yeah, it's no. I as a historian and looking at the Bible through the lens of a historian, I actually I lean towards mythicism. When you look at it based on the actual historical evidence, if I look at it the way I look at pretty much any other piece of history, if I'm looking at some of the ancient Greek stories, ancient Roman stories, pretty much anything, I struggle to justify that. Certainly the character of Jesus as portrayed in the Bible absolutely did not exist, but I struggle to even believe that there was an itinerant preacher who was going around with 12 disciples. I struggle. I think he may have been someone who was created afterwards. I don't know why, but the evidence isn't there for him. It's absolutely right. But what is there is forgeries. But we know there's forgeries. What was the need back in those days to forge them?
Well, we got a great question from our buddy GeoSam. GeoSam says, Chris, do you think the titles of pastor, minister, bishop, elder, deacon, and the like can be used to abuse others for personal gain and privilege that they otherwise wouldn't?
Absolutely, yeah, because it gives it's an authoritative title. I think that people, when you say you're a pastor, even if they're in a different denomination to you, or if they're a minister, if they're a Christian, they automatically have a level of respect, or you have an authoritative position over them. Look, I think like anything, it can be used for good and bad. I think there's a lot of good people out there in the Christian world. I think most people who are Christians, at the end of the day, they believe something I don't. But they're people like any of us. They're just trying to live their best life and find their way through this existence that we all have the best that they can. But yeah, there's definitely people who use it. I think sometimes titles can be thrown around too easy. It's like whenever and I hate to use a Kent Hovind line here, but he always likes to poke fun at the 19-year-old elders coming from the Mormon church. They're not an elder for anything. So I think some of those titles can be thrown around a little bit too easy, but
it gives the kids a lot to look forward to, like as they hit that age of like coming of age, then they're like, I finally became an elder. It kind of gives that whole sense of and I think you hit the nail on the head. It gives that sense of importance just through a title.
And not everyone should be. It's one of the things I've learned in business actually is you get people who should never be put in positions of leadership or given leadership titles, not because they're horrible people or bad people. It's just because they don't know how to. Not everyone's a leader. If everyone was a leader, then it would be a very different world. Some people just shouldn't be leaders and shouldn't be put in those positions of authority, but sometimes it's like it's a step program within religion. Like, you go and do this, and then you do this step, and then all of a sudden you've got a small group, and then you're training to be a pastor. And I mean, I some of the people I went to Bible college with who have subsequently tripping up in words, subsequently become pastors or leaders within the church, they are people that they shouldn't be. I wouldn't trust them to lead anything. And not because they're bad people, it's just because they don't have that skill set. So I think that's something that's important to remember.
I did have a follow-up question for the previous question about historicism versus mythicism. I had one of our friends who came on the show who's a Catholic and post-Catholic TikToks, Colton. He was telling me that he considered the Gospels as a Greco-Roman biography. Have you heard this? Like kind of in the style of Plutarch, right? And I've only skimmed the surface, and I figured you may have more insight into this than I do. How would you respond to that?
I think it certainly leans on a lot of the older stories and the creation of characters to or the creation of the Jesus character to fit him into a certain mold, depending on the time it was written. Realistically, the 4 Gospels that were chosen were just chosen because they were the most popular of the books, because there's inconsistencies between them. I mean, the obvious ones, the lineage difference between Matthew and Luke, they've got him coming from different lines of David. And look, I've heard some really good explanations for that. But I mean, the reason they were both included was because there would have been a big schism if you had have included one and not the other, and they were trying to unite everything with the council at Nicaea. Sorry, I kind of went off topic there. No, look, I have heard that. I think it's a bit of a Catholic explanation, or even an Orthodox explanation. But no, I don't think it's historically. I don't think it's accurate.
And I think what people should do is like go back and read one of those, any other biography, and in it, actually for Lycurgus, it says legend, like it's called a legendary account. It like, even in those ancient Roman biographies, they're written 600 years after the fact, at least Lycurgus was, and it says that it's legendary, and it says straight out, look, it may or may not have happened exactly this way, but here's some stories that have been passed down.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of that. I mean, with the Gospels themselves, they were written in a relatively, they're not contemporary, but they're not too far off. I mean, Mark was probably at best written 35 years after what would have been the death of Jesus, and then you've got John, which at worst would have been 120 years after, although I'm probably thinking it's probably closer to about 90, 95, but it is hard to tell. So we're talking about the teachings of an emerging sect, but it's also at a time where the Jews are being driven out again, the Second Temple, and the rebellion against the Romans has been crushed. There's a lot of other things going on, and with the Roman writing at the time, we know a lot about Rome in the first century because there was a lot written about Rome in the first century. It's some of the Roman authors. Even I'm actually doing a study on the moment of the Roman poet Catullus, which if you ever want to read some really, really messed up shit, Catullus is your go-to guy.
I'm writing it down now. I love messed up shit.
Oh yeah,
Jeff, that's your shit right there, Jeff.
It's
no, I don't get into
Catullus.
that.
Look for Catullus's 16th poem and thank me later, because it will. You'll just be going. Hang on. It's Catullus.
Jeff's googling it right now. He's googling it right now. Look at him.
We can read some beautiful ancient. It's some ancient Roman poetry. It's wonderful to look at. But I think Catullus, he would have done really, really well in the modern era, because Twitter would have been heaven for this guy. He wrote a lot of love poems to this woman Lesbia, who there's a lot of argument about who Lesbia is, and a few of his friends, I think, gave him a bit of a hard time about it. So his 16th poem is his way of telling those trolls who had upset him what he would do to them, and it's just beautiful.
I can't read the first line without being.
Thank you again, Pete, for the super chat. Does this tie into it? It says on atheism movement, a boom.
Oh, the Atheism Plus,
or both.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of Atheism Plus. Not a fan at all. Atheism is about a lack of belief. We should work together for a common good. If people have got other causes that they want to engage in, that's fine, but we shouldn't be tying atheism into this cause and that cause, because not everyone supports everything, be it right or wrong. And the other thing, for people who are coming into atheism, especially out of conservative Christianity, it's not like one day they wake up and all of those conservative views on social issues disappear. So I think there's a lot of people in the atheist community who do atheism a big disservice, because they're trying to use atheism to promote this issue or that other issue that really have nothing to do with atheism. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of the cancel culture that seems to be attached to it. I see some atheists shows even that I used to support that I don't think they've had an episode about atheism in months, because it's about is how bad Donald Trump is. And I'm just thinking, well, someone who's coming out of conservative American Christianity who mightn't have given away or given up their Republican viewpoints, they're not going to want to engage. They're just going to believe what the Christian right is saying, which is, all these atheists, they're just evil, left wing, this and that, which isn't the case. I mean, there's so many right-leaning people in the secular community. It's just it's things like Atheism Plus make it very hard for people to speak up. I mean, it's the amount of times I've been cancelled or written off on Twitter because I hold a different view. I put a video out as a joke saying, here's why I won't be voting for Joe Biden, which the whole punchline was, because I'm Australian, I can't vote in your election. Stop hassling me about it. The hate I got for that, the vitriol I got for that, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't be putting out videos like this. It's damaging to the cause. I'm like, what cause? It's your election, not my election. I'm an atheist. It's got nothing to do.
The world doesn't exist outside the United States.
So I have learned that recently, and I've been corrected on that, and I do.
We don't travel internationally. We travel inside of our states.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. Well, hey,
and Oz has never been outside of the county he grew up in.
This is an interesting question here for Oz, funny enough. Do you enjoy tickles? And if so, can I do a deep dive? And that's from Pasta Mike. Oz, anything or...
This is the Atheist Roundtable. We're going to be chatting with Oz today about his life story. We're going to go deep. We're going to be spreading his cheeks, delving into that ass. Be going deep. But no, that's not what we're doing.
No.
I thought we were doing like the full like Hollywood story. No,
we're not digging into my ass. No.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going into the deep ass dive, like a deep dive. No, wrong channel.
Wrong channel. This ain't Pornhub.
Oh, God damn it.
Well, I guess then that brings us to a very unusual close, awkward close, since Oz always turns me down on the deep dives. But thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to the wonderful atheist pastor Chris Atlee. He's in Monday already, so we'll be, as always, America's always behind. We're going to be
Monday afternoon even.
Yeah, Monday afternoon. It's not even Monday morning. It's Monday afternoon. What's it like over there on Monday?
Just like every other Monday. It's there's a song I like called "Rainy Days and Mondays Always Get Me Down," and it's raining and it's Monday. But you guys have made sure that I'm happy. So thank you for giving me a little bit of that Sunday spirit.
Man, we've enjoyed having you on, brother. It's awesome, and we'd love to have you on next time we have some theists on the show, and we can
absolutely.
Oh, hold on, wait a second, hold on.
That's a theist, if I've ever seen one.
We got some Dogma. Hey, Dogma, what's up, buddy?
Say hey. Yeah, she came up and was starting to play over there on the couch. I was like, you're so loud. So if you guys hear a dog running around, that's Lila.
Oh, that's Lila. Well, Chris, any pets you'd like to display before we roll out?
I do have a cavoodle. He's in another room, and if I get him out of his very comfortable spot that he's laying in, he'll probably have the shits at me, and I don't want to deal with that. I'll be honest. We're going to leave that one alone.
Well, thank you again. Thank you, Oz, for graciously hosting. Thank you, Just Jeff. And guys, don't forget to go check out Just Jeff on the Atheist Troll Live. You can find him taking calls from folks, including the likes of Darth Dawkins. Hopefully we'll get Mr. Batman to give him a call here soon. We got Ben G. He's got his own YouTube channel. Check out Ben G. Ben, plug your channel, my friend.
Yeah, well, on my YouTube, I basically just read. And it's just Ben G SE. And it's just a little project of mine. So really, you can find me over on TikTok, ben.g.se. And I like to post street epistemology content, just some personal thoughts, things that I find funny over there. So check that out.
And everybody can go over and like and subscribe to Chris Atlee's channel, Atheist Pastor on YouTube. He has some awesome stuff. And also go check out Jay at the Nethermore Tavern as well.
Definitely.
Oz?
Yeah, come subscribe to me. I'm lots of fun.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
I just go drive by Oz's house. Email me at tart.live. I'll send you his address. And TP is his house. Go by Oz's house. And thank you for joining the Atheist Roundtable.